TinkerCAD tips. Hey, welcome back. This is part 2 of making threads. And again, I want to give credit where credit is due. I got much of this from HL ModTech over on YouTube. Followed this, which then provides a link, and I have the link above here in the text, which brings this over to this chart. And in this tutorial, I've been working on making this nut and bolt, which happens to be a 3/4 10 that we've been working on. I've made the nut portion of it here, so let's work on the bolt portion of it. So I have my shape generator here, the screw threads, which we found over here in the shape generators. And I'm going to simply follow the guideline that's on this spreadsheet. So down here's our line, the 3/4 10. I'm on this portion of it here now, the thread parameters for the screw. Let's slide over here a bit. So I'm going to follow these parameters and enter them into the parameters over in TinkerCAD. So 8, I'm going to come back here, enter radius, we're going to make that 8, click tab, 9.38, click 9.38, next parameter is 1.81, 1.81, next parameter 0.22, 0.22, next parameters are 10 and 64, 10, 64, let's get to our total height, 25.4, and we're going to make this clockwise course. Now we have to make the inner core, so I'm going to bring out a cylinder here. Well, let's go back. Every once in a while it wants to jump back down, so we can just retype 25.4. There we go. Let's come back to our cylinder. Here's our core dimensions, 1602. So I'm going to hold down, jump back again. That's just a quirk of TinkerCAD. So our core dimensions, 1602. I'm going to hold Alt and Shift, click on the corner, 16.02. Height, 25.4. 25.4. Let's go ahead and select the both of these, and just for the sake of visual, let's make them yellow. We're then going to align these two together in this direction, and in this direction, and in this direction. And looking here, I got a little bit of a gap in here, so let's change this inside cylinder. Alt and Shift, I'm going to click here. Let's make this 16.1. And we'll realign again. Everything's lined up. There we go. Alrighty, let's group the two of those together. Now we're going to take the top of it here. Let's go ahead and put our work plane up on top of this. While we have this head selected, we'll hit D to drop it to the work plane. I'm going to shift select the threaded portion of it here, do a quick alignment. That direction, that direction. Let's put our work plane back. All right, let's grab all of that for a moment. Let's tip it upside down. Whoops. Spin it over again. There we go. Now you'll notice here that there's a little bit of extra thread, and we can resolve that pretty easily. So let's select this portion of it down here. We'll hit duplicate. Let's change that into a hole. Oops. Let's make sure that that's duplicated there. Duplicate. Let's make that a hole. Put our work plane back up on top, D to drop. There we go. Now we can select all of that, group that together, give it a moment to resolve. And once it's resolved, it'll look like this. Let's drop our work plane back down to the default. Let's go ahead and rotate this back over again. Now I want to show you the nice tolerance between these parts here. Let's select the nut portion of it, shift select the bolt portion of it, click Align, make the bolt the master. We'll click this direction and this direction. Now I have that nut set to transparent. Down here in my snap grid, I've set snap grid to off. I'm going to select just that nut portion, and holding the control key, I'm going to cursor down and kind of get that lined up. And if you zoom in here, you can see that nice tolerance between the nut and the bolt. Obviously, these are easy enough to print. You just take this, drop it to the work plane, take your nut and your bolt, flip it over this way, drop it to the work plane. You can print these and they're ready to go. So now let me jump over and I'll show you the printed version of this 3/8 that I did here and how well that these match up to the actual real-world metal versions. Right, here's my printed example. This is the printed version that I took off the printer. I was just using some standard PLA Plus, a 0.2 millimeter layer height, 3 walls, 4 top and bottom layers with maybe 15% infill. And you can see that without any effort at all, these thread right together, no resistance, very easy. Here's our real world nut and bolt. Here's the bolt. There's my PLA printed nut. Goes right onto that bolt. No problem at all. Fits great. Take that one back off. And here's a wing nut for the 3/8. My plastic printed version of the bolt. See, that threads right in there, no problem at all. So this came out great just by following that spreadsheet and printing with some good parameters. You can make yourself nuts and bolts with working threads. And again, the caveat here is, it's all dependent upon what your printer is capable of as far as the detail that are in these threads. Obviously, if you start getting too small, your printer might have some difficulty with that. But, as always, like, follow, and share. Download that spreadsheet. And I hope to see you on the next one. Happy tinkering!